Hey guys, it's Ryan coming at you here from the Cincinnati HorrorHound. I'm here with legendary stuntman and actor Ted White. How you doing, man?
I'm fine today.
How you enjoying the convention?
I'm having a wonderful time for my last convention.
That's right.
I couldn't have come to a place that I've enjoyed as much.
Very cool, man. We're glad to have you here, man. Definitely. Your probably biggest role is Jason in Final Friday. Why don't you just talk to us a little bit about that? How was your experience, being an iconic role as Jason?
I had never done a Jason before. I mean, I didn't know what Friday the 13th was, actually.
Right.
My boys had. So when I went in, I read for the part of an officer. I had no idea what I was going to read for. They asked me to wait, and I waited another 20 minutes out in the hallway and brought me back in and said, well, we like you, and we want you to do the part. And I said, fine. I said, that's the policeman I read for? And they said, no, we want you to do Jason. And I said, well, Jason doesn't say anything. All he does is kill people. And they said, well, yeah, you're right. That's right. I said, well, I've got 2 grown sons, and they've got kids, and I don't want the kids seeing their grandfather killing people.
Right.
So I think I'll just pass on this, and maybe some other time we can get together. And I left. The prop man on the show lives about a block and a half from me. And he called up that afternoon after I got home and said, I hear you at the studio. And I said, yeah. And he said, what happened? And I said, well, they wanted me to do Jason. And I said, I turned it down. And he said, well, you should have taken it because they're going to have to make a plaster cast from your waist up, and you're on hold for 6 weeks. Now, when you're on hold in the motion picture business, you're on full salary. Well, greed raised its ugly head, and I picked up the phone and I said, you know what, I'm really not doing a heck of a lot right now. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do your show. So that's how I got it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How did you get into doing stunt work? Like, how did you one day decide, I think I might like to be a stuntman?
I was a technical advisor for a movie being made in Los Angeles called The Sands of Iwo Jima. At the time, I was in a naval hospital in San Diego, walking wounded. And so I went up and watched her make the movie, and I happened to meet John Wayne. And
nice.
Developed some kind of a friendship with him. And
big name.
Later on, when I retired from the Marine Corps, I came back into Hollywood and went to his office to say hello. And he was making a movie in town. So I went over to watch on the movie set. And I saw stuntmen doing stunts over there. And I'd been very, very active all my life. And that was the beginning for me, but I didn't work on that show. I went back home to Texas and came back 2 years later and met a couple of guys that were stuntmen, and that's how I broke into the business.
Right, cool. Do you have any favorite roles that you've had over the years? I'm sure there's plenty.
I wouldn't call it a role. The most famous show that, for me, that I liked the most was a movie called Hatari, made in 1960 in Africa, with John Wayne, Elsa Martinelli, Red Buttons, Hardy Kruger, nice cast, and that was my favorite show.
Cool. Yeah, those are some big names. You've doubled for John Wayne. I can't imagine. That's
John
awesome.
Wayne for 38 years. Gable for about
Clark
29.
Gable too, huh? Nice.
Gable for about 29 years. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any preference? Like, what's your favorite kind of movies?
Well, naturally, I gravitate to Western since I grew up on a ranch.
Yeah.
And horses are my forte. So I gravitated to them. And when I started in the business, we were making a lot of Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, as you grow up in the business and work, you have to do motorcycle work, you have to do car work, you have to do water work, you have to do fire work, foils, rapiers, broad blades. So you have to learn it all. And if you're going to double the leading man, that's part of your business. That's what you have to do.
That's a hard-working man right there. That about does it for us. Thank you very much, Ted. We appreciate it. You enjoy the rest of your very last HorrorHound convention. And thank you very much for talking to us. Okay.